Hey guys, welcome back. If you're noticing my character's looking different, it's because I took a few liberties in between the break to just go over my equipment. Took a few quick stops to the shop, that kind of thing. So nothing particularly noteworthy. I'm just going to mouse over all the equipment here just so that everyone can see. Pretty much just, did the usual, well, I have a bit of money. Best to go to the store, see if there's anything, just because at this point most of my slots are empty, so anything's better than nothing. I also, since we still have our mercenary for the time being, I thought best to at least give her a fighting chance. So I threw a gem in her bow, and here's hoping she'll be of some use. We'll see how long she lasts. So in our last video, we just killed Bloodraven, so we're on to the search for Cain now. I didn't go and get the Stony Field waypoint, and this is a new game, so I don't have the TP to burial grounds. So I'm thinking I'll run through the cold plains again, and if we end up at the burial grounds, I'll do the crypt and mausoleum. If we go to the Stony Fields, we go along with the quest. Thought that would be the easiest way to go about it. Sorry about that, I was just changing my volume. But yeah, so next quest, this is actually a relatively important one for the for both the sake of the story and mechanically, because Cain gives you access to free identifying, which saves you a bit of hassle with buying identity scrolls and whatnot. He just becomes and he's also, regardless of whether or not you rescue him here, he is a pretty vital part of the main story. The actual way to get there is relatively straightforward, although it can take a bit of running because you have to go through cold plains, get to Stony Fields, go through the underground passage to Darkwood, and then back to Stony Field. So with that in mind, I'm going to be looking for the waypoint in Stony Fields as well as the stones. And that's just because if I'm going to be doing this quest, I want to know where the quest stuff is, and it's easier to have a waypoint as a touchback point instead of having to like leave a TP here, because then I wouldn't be able to TP back, and it's just easier. Over here we got Moldy Tome. This is for the Countess. You don't need to grab the quest. Actually, most quests in Diablo you don't actually need to pick up the quest itself. It'll give it to you once you get close enough. So it's nice to have, but not necessary. Looks like our merc's dying. I forget the hotkey to feed them potions. And there she goes. If I remembered the hotkey, that probably would have helped her. I'll have to remember that. Maybe one of you guys can tell me. I know there is one. I just could not for the life of me remember what it is. Also, I should be grabbing the XP shrine if I'm killing these guys. There we go. Because minions and these boss mobs give extra XP, so I might as well be capitalizing on it. This one's just stone skin, so it's just a few extra clicks. Oh, a scepter. That could actually be useful. Scepters are pretty good for paladins because it's class related, although you don't need to be a paladin to use it, unlike certain pieces of equipment. Let's pick that up. Let's see what we got here. Resist fire, huh? I don't think that's... Oh, it is. Oh. Welcome to the team, Scepter. Time to clunk people. So, like I said, we're looking for the Stony Field waypoint. And then we're gonna be looking for the underground passage. Just the usual traveling around stuff. Okay, level up again. I believe we can start putting points into sacrifice now. Trying to think. 12, 11, 10, 9. Only level 7, so yeah. Yeah, we can probably just put a point in here. Like I said, it's going to be buffing up Zeal. I should probably... I'll look at it in a second once this XP shrine's done. I shouldn't be standing around wasting it. I did pick up a large shield, but it's just a plain one for the most part. So at some point we're going to find either the stones or the waypoint here. Looks like we found the waypoint, yeah. Okay, so here's the waypoint. Now let me double check. So if you heard me counting earlier, I was just counting the prerequisite skills. It looks like there's 4 of them. So starting at level 9, we might want to start saving, but that leaves this level and the next level to put points elsewhere. So I'll probably put a point into sacrifice. Not the worst idea. I suppose I could actually use some sacrifice, but the main reason I'm not is just because it costs health, and usually our basic swings are enough at this point. We're not fighting particularly complex mobs here. Okay, so we have the walls here, so this means the underground passage is going to be along it somewhere. Usually there's like a road or a path that just leads directly to it, although I haven't been following it. Here's a gem shrine. How gem shrines work is it, as far as I know, if you have no gems in your inventory, it'll give you a random chipped, while if you have a gem in your inventory, it makes one of the next highest, I believe. I guess we can go test it. I have a few gems in my stash. I believe that's how it works. I think it replaces the current gem and upgrades it. So essentially it like has like a Herodric cube effect for those who are familiar. So let me double check. You can come back, merc lady. I think we can just leave these here. Let's just try it with this. So we go up to the gem shrine. Champ pack. Always good for XP. Got some gloves for our trouble. Excellent. So let's go back up. Yeah, I believe I'm correct on this gem shrine, but I guess we'll find out in 1 second. So we have the chipped, and yep, it takes it and makes it flawed. So it's essentially adding 2 more of whatever gem you have, and then Herodric cubing them. I guess I'll pick this up. Boost our Defiance aura. Here are the stones, so we need to be careful here for the sake of our merc, because Rakandashu is lightning enchanted. So he'll start lighting up like a Christmas tree once we start fighting him. And that usually doesn't bode well for mercenaries. Or us, for that matter, but we usually are a bit tankier. And boom, got him. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so now that we know where the stones are and we know where the waypoint is, time to just go through the underground passage. So that should be right up here. Indeed it is. Now you're supposed to take this to go through to the Darkwood, where you're supposed to find the tree. But there's also a level 2, which is similar to the cave that we were in earlier, where it's just a smaller area with a bit of loot and usually some sort of boss mob. Got the guys who spit giant weird bubble things. You'll see what I mean shortly. So we're level 7 right now. Usually levels aren't super important at the start. The only real hard level requirements in Diablo are for the Ancient slash Baal. You need to be level 20, 40, or 60, depending on the difficulty. There are ways to get around it with kind of like glitchy tricks and whatnot. That's what some people use for rushing, but I mean, if you're planning on not getting rushed in general, you're gonna be those levels anyways. It's usually not a huge requirement. Like, you might be level 40 or something before you go after Baal in normal, so nothing to worry about. Since I'm going through the game relatively slowly, I should have no problem keeping up level-wise with all the content. So for those who are unfamiliar, we're going through here to the Darkwood. We have to find a tree which has a scroll which allows us to essentially read the stones we just saw back in Stony Field, hence the name. So that allows us to open up a portal to Tristram, which is the callback to Diablo 1, for those who have played it. Hence the Wirt and Griswold and Deckard Cain references. It's also, you see what happens to Tristram in the, I believe it's the opening cinematic for Diablo 2? Something like that. The main bullet point is not good things happen. So, poor Tristram. It's Diablo 2's Kvatch, for those who are fans of Oblivion. Pretty much a similar story to be told. I guess we'll just put another point in sacrifice. We could be saving our points for like long-term investments, like, oh, once we have Holy Shield and Zeal, we can be leveling both, but not a huge deal. This is getting very maze-like. Quite the big underground passage we got going on here. If we walk into Darkwood, I'm not sure if we'll go immediately or if we're going to look for level 2 first. Oh, well, I guess that answers that. And there's level 2. Anything up here? Just some guys. Yep. Might as well pick that up. And let's Let's go to level 2. Hooray. Fallen. Actually, not that big a deal now. They're so low level of mobs. We should be fighting, we'll be fighting carvers and carver shamans soon enough, so. Diablo 2 is a game that's quite, guilty of doing the color palette swaps, a concept Blizzard continued on in, WoW, among other things. But not a huge deal. You get the... I've never been that insulted by the concept, especially because not all the mobs even do it, but there's definitely enough types that it's noticeable. Multiple shots, huh? But it's not even just the fallen species that does it. There's other ones in Diablo in general that are guilty of doing it. But even so, there's still like your unique to this act type mobs. So each act still gets its own sense of flavor. It's not just repeatedly killing a level 5 red dog, level 8 blue dog. So well, we are going to end up exploring almost all of the underground passage here, which isn't the worst thing. We got up to level 8 so far, making good progress. I guess any progress where we don't die is progress in hardcore terms. Not sure where Merc went. I'm sure she's stuck on a wall somewhere and she's gonna teleport in soon enough. Preserved heads are necromancer items, so not super helpful for us. Also, unlike wands and staves and such, I don't believe they actually sell very well. I guess people don't want to buy heads in jars or something, I don't know. Push through these skeletons here. So the next super unique we're going to walk into is going to be Treehead Woodfist, which is like an awesome name. I'm sure his parents are very proud. He's I know he's extra strong, but is he extra strong stone skin or just extra strong? In either case, he's a big yeti man. He punches you, hence the name. Nope, there's Puke Lust, my favorite name ever of the random generators. Oh, I love that name. So awesome. I'm happy I just ran into that one. Like, there's all these hilarious generator ones, and that's probably my favorite. That was quite lucky. I don't know. I'm wondering how many games prior to this had the random generators for names. I know this one had it, but there must have been other ones. I can't say they invented it or anything. Although it is a concept they carried on with Warcraft 3. The heroes you got, they all got randomized. Well, there was a list. It wasn't an infinite list, of course, but they had a big list of all the names your heroes could get when you built a new one at the hero shrines or whatever. Which I believe is where a few of the Dota heroes got their names. Pretty full on the inventory here, but should be able to get to Treehead before I have to pack up and go home, as it were. I'd also like to find the waypoint here. I'm probably going to always want to find the waypoints in this playthrough, just because I'm not sure when I'm going to have to reload a game and whatnot. That's the way to Black Marsh over there to the left. We'll be going there eventually, but not quite yet. No, I was going to say that looked like the spot, but it was not. So we're looking for a big tree and a bunch of Yeti around it. Yeti? I think it was. I'm not actually sure the plural. In any case, there's the waypoint. Now we're looking for the tree. Shouldn't be too far because we covered most of the area. There's the main road. Oh, there's mana burn. That's not that dangerous. Famous last words, I'm sure. I don't think it'll be these guys that do it. Well, I did snap my weapon. Breaking too many undead. I'm gonna be lazy and try and level up instead of heal. There we go. Efficiency, ladies and gents. I'm kind of avoiding fighting all the fallen just because, or carvers in this case, just because there's so many and I don't know where all the shamans are. Okay, extra strong, extra fast. There is Mr. Treehead. Soon to be wrestler name, I'm sure. Ooh. Let's heal up a bit. There we go. Down he goes. Take a few potions. And we got here what we came for. Once I drop random garbage. Play a bit of Tetris here. There we go. Okay, so all we gotta do now, come back here, put our points in. I'm gonna start saving these skill points. Now Akara is going to read the scroll for us because apparently we're incapable of doing it ourselves. It's probably better than a strength. This, we don't have an amulet, so anything this is worth it. Welcome to the crew. What is all this? 6 to 12. Yeah. It's probably worth it. Get rid of all this. Don't need mana potions, don't need these exploding potions. This 1 to 3. I don't believe that's better than the one we have socked. Let's see. This looks good. So, I'm just gonna do some busy work here. Put away all this. Now all we need to do is go back to Stony Field's waypoint and head back to the stones. Shouldn't be too bad of a walk because we killed most of the stuff on the way here. Except the shaman who's procrastinating. Let's just get the shamans out of the way so that our merc can clear these while we go do other stuff. So, now that we're here, Just need to open up this. So you can tell the symbols are all related. So like this one here is this one, for example, and then all you need to do is just hit them in the prescribed order, which for us is apparently just counterclockwise. Not a very pragmatic lot, whoever enchanted these stones. So there we go, boom, Tristram. Here we are. Gotta do the obligatory explode this cow. It'll be the only cow we'll ever see, because there's no such thing as a cow level. Right, guys? So yeah, this is the this is Tristram, which, as I mentioned earlier, is the main town in Diablo 1 for those who have played it. And one of the bosses here, Griswold, was the blacksmith, who he is then mentioned again in Diablo 3, while Wirt, whose leg you can get, here's Cain, help him out. While Wirt was the guy you gambled with, and I believe his like sister or something is in Diablo 3. That's Squirt or whatever her name is. I forget her name in Act 2. Here's Griswold, poor guy, zombified blacksmith. Funnily enough, we cursed him with our scepter. He actually puts amplify on you, which is a nice twist of fate there. So these are actually all the old buildings. This used to be like the town square from Diablo 1, and like this was the inn. I'm trying to remember. That was the inn. This is where the healer was. This was the blacksmith, I believe. Yeah, something like that. In any case, yeah, that's pretty close. It's been a while. I'm sorry. And up here is Wirt, who, yeah, he was the gambling guy. You had to like pay money to even look at the item before you bought it and whatnot. Diablo 1 was a weird game in that didn't have a stash and whatnot, so like, but you could only hold so much gold. So one of the funny memories I have playing the game, at least, is like you go through clearing all the rooms and you have all this money, but you don't really know what to do with it. And you can, and it wasn't that, the main thing was that instead of like having this, the gold was like an actual item that went in your inventory, and each stack only held so much gold, so you didn't want to keep all your money. So what you end up doing is just like throwing all these giant piles of gold around this fountain and just using that as your bank, just hurling all the riches in front of these townsfolk. You're just like, yeah, here's all the loot I pillaged from your catacombs. Don't touch it though. So we're very nice adventurers. An interesting game, Diablo 1. I haven't played a huge amount of it. I think I've played through it maybe 3 or 4 times. I definitely prefer Diablo 2, but this is the game I was raised on, so just might be an age thing. There is a desire to enjoy the simplicity of it. So here's Deckard Cain. His main thing is, mechanically speaking, you can use him to identify items in your inventory for free, which is pretty useful. Kara here will give us a ring. She's being a nice lady. Usually it's not that great. 2 energy and 1 mana after kill. Since we're not using energy, we're probably not going to need that. But that is the third quest, Search for Cain. Here's Cain, we got him. So next we're going to go to the Forgotten Tower and fight the Countess, who is, surprise surprise, not a nice lady. So that'll be for the next one. I'll see you guys then.